Artificial intelligence has moved into the physical world. Massive corporations are actively pouring concrete and laying steel to house the infrastructure of this shift. We can see the effects of this build-out across 4 distinct layers of society: the movement of global capital, the speed of medical discovery, the reach of state governance, and the execution of individual creativity. To understand the impact, we have to trace the path of the money, tracking how hundreds of billions of dollars in planetary-scale infrastructure cascade downward, eventually altering the daily workflow of a single person. Following this cascade from the macro to the micro is the only way to see the actual velocity of this multi-trillion-dollar build-out. The physical and financial scale of this transition begins with the corporate footprint of companies like Meta. In early 2026, Meta reported strong Q1 profits, with revenue reaching $56 billion. However, the stock fell nearly 7%. Investors were reacting to the capital expenditure forecast. Meta will spend up to $145 billion this year, specifically on AI infrastructure. This spending is driven by the need for compute, the raw processing power required to train and run next-generation models. For major tech firms, securing these resources is now a primary competitive requirement. That $145 billion represents thousands of acres of land, direct connections to regional power grids, and the installation of tens of thousands of GPU server racks. The industry's primary focus has shifted from cloud software to physical infrastructure. The organizations building the largest physical foundation today are positioning themselves to define the future economy. This silicon infrastructure is already being applied at the institutional level. In the pharmaceutical sector, Novo Nordisk is using these systems to change how research is conducted. By partnering with OpenAI, the company is attempting to remove the friction points that traditionally slow down complex biological research. AI models are now used to redesign clinical trial workflows and assist in identifying molecular targets for new medicines, at a pace human researchers cannot match on their own. The partnership also extends into logistics, using AI to manage global supply chains and retrain staff, with a goal of full deployment by the end of 2026. In the pharmaceutical industry, AI acts as an accelerant. It can potentially cut years off the time it takes to bring life-saving treatments to patients. In India, AI infrastructure is addressing a different kind of friction: linguistic diversity. For millions, the inability to speak or read English is a barrier to accessing digital government services. India's Ministry of Electronics and IT has launched VoicERA to address this. It is an open-source voice AI system developed through a collaboration between government and research foundations. Built on the Bhashini framework, VoicERA can understand, translate, and speak over 700 distinct Indian dialects. This allows a farmer in a rural region to access government subsidies simply by speaking to the device in their local dialect. Because the user no longer has to type in a second language or navigate complex English text, the difficulty of interacting with the state is significantly reduced. This use of AI turns previously excluded populations into active participants in the national digital economy. This cascade finally reaches the individual creative workflow through the public beta of Adobe's Firefly AI Assistant. This is an example of agentic AI, a system that is designed to take direct control of over 60 professional creative tools based on conversational commands. When a user asks to add cinematic lighting, the assistant executes the multi-step technical process within the software automatically. For India's massive community of graphic designers and editors, this makes high-end techniques accessible to those who haven't yet mastered complex manual workflows. Technical mastery is becoming less of a barrier, shifting the focus toward the value of the user's creative intent. Every creative prompt in Adobe, every voice query in VoicERA, and every molecular simulation at Novo Nordisk is linked back to the physical power of the data center. Across capital, medicine, governance, and creativity, the gap between a human's intent and a finished result is narrowing. The multi-trillion-dollar build-out is no longer a forecast. It is a physical reality, already functioning in the systems we use every day.